Okay, so in this one, I'm just going to be making this thing right here. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I'll just put it up here once I'm done. This start to finish. So normally when people do tutorials like this, they create the thing and then they remake it like multiple times, and then when they actually record the tutorial, it's like they just show a very clean process without any mistakes along the way. But what I want to do is just show you the basic idea that I have and then just go straight into it without practicing it, just to show you that like when I run into problems, which I will, I'll show you how I get past those, and I think that's more useful. So the idea for this one is here's some textures from textures.com, like grungy, concrete, this kind of perspective, maybe similar lighting. So like I want a big, worn down, abandoned, grungy, massive type of thing like this. And I think I want like some sort of big turbine or like big fan blade, something like this, giant sideways on the wall. And then instead of looking up at it like this, we'll just be like looking up at this massive like turbine thing. So that's the idea. And here's just more like things that kind of fit the vibe of what I'm going for. So yeah, stuff like this is kind of cool. So I want it a lot bigger than this, but this has the kind of shape and style that I want. So let's see if we can do that. Just combine all of these different things together into that image I just described of a massive turbine on the wall or something. So yeah, to start off, let's just open this up. I think I want to start with the actual like generator turbine thing itself. So this is a nice reference photo I found. So I'll just start by like going with this type of style of thing, and then we'll go from there and see where it goes. So I think the first thing I want to do is just add a circle, and let's actually do that again and just turn this up to 64 on the vertices, spin it around, just backslash to isolate. So if you have a bunch of objects, if you hit backslash like next to the shift key on one of them, it'll just isolate that one. So I'm just doing that to get the camera out of the way. Okay, so let's fill it with a face, F inset with I, just delete that interface, and then we have this now. Let's just extrude that out just to get a ring, and that'll be a good starting point. So I think I'll show you how to do a circular array. I think that'll be the best thing here. So let's add a cube without moving it around. I'll just leave it in where it dropped in on the world origin. And I'll actually go into edit mode and then start moving it around. And that way the scale and location are still applied. But here, so let's just model this in edit mode. So this will be like one of the fan blades or something. So I'll just put that there. And then let's actually array this in a circle, and then I'll start modeling it. So let's add an empty, just do plain axis, so just regular empty. Make sure you don't move this around. So I'm moving it, but I'm hitting escape, so it's snapping back to the middle. And notice how the origin point of this object right here is still in the exact center where the empty is. Okay, so let's add an array, unchecked relative offset, just uncheck that, and then check this one right here, object offset. And the object we're gonna offset it with is that empty we just added. So choose that one, and oops, check that on. Let's see how many things I need roughly. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like I don't know, 14-ish roughly blades will be fine. It doesn't really matter the exact amount as long as it's roughly matching what I want. So now there's 14 of them all stacked on top of each other, and as soon as I rotate this around, you'll see that it'll spin around this empty here because that's the object that it's offsetting from. So just keep in mind that this only works if the origin point, see if when I move this and the origin point changes, the origin point shares the exact same spot as the empty. If it's all messed up and you can't get it to work, just make sure you apply the scale and apply the rotation for the object that you're arraying as well as the empty. Okay, so that's in there. Let's just spin this around and make it line up something like this. So let's see if I can get this right. That's close enough, good enough. And now I can model this in edit mode now, and now those changes will be applied to all of them. So let's just pull this out. And now I can kind of tweak this to however I want, and let's just look at our reference here. So I think I want it thinner this way and then rotate it like that. Yeah, that seems right. And let's just look at that shape again. So it seems like it's kind of expanding at the top here. Let's actually undo this. Let's add some edge loops in here, and then just take this one and just maybe we can just scale that down a little bit with proportional editing. Maybe keep it on constant so that it's like a smooth. Actually, it'd be easier if I just, let's do it this way. No proportional editing, just scale this down without those loop cuts and then add them back in. Although, probably don't even need them actually. So now let's rotate that around. I probably need something this way actually. And then, yeah, we can pull these down. So just select these, whoops, didn't do that. I guess I should save this. So, tutorials, just quickly save. I'm calling it process 3, but I don't know if this will actually be the final process 3 or if it'll be the first one in the core. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, pull this down. I want this to be, that's the wrong way, so like this. I don't know, that is good enough. Okay, so let's spin this sideways and let's just scale it down. Oh, I don't like that actually, let's undo that. It's good enough if it's like this. And then maybe let's bevel these two things right here. Just Control B. Yeah. Maybe just one like that. And then you could add another bevel on top of everything with a modifier like this and just throw it on slightly. That's pretty nice. Okay. I think that is a good starting point. And I can always come back and make this more refined later. Okay, so let's just throw a cylinder in here. Just rotate 90, scale it down so we have this little type of thing in the middle. I guess I could copy the shape as well, like take this inset, just add some loops, and then pull this out with proportional editing so it like kind of matches somewhat our reference. Good enough. I'm saying good enough, then I'm just not stopping, but it's fine. Shade auto smooth. This might have to come this way. Okay, that is actually good enough. Okay. That does not, it's not really the shape that I wanted. Maybe I think I need to like stretch this out more actually. I shouldn't be spending too much time on these small details right away, but this is the main thing we're going to be looking at, so I want to get it at least somewhat right before I do anything else. Okay, let's dissolve these edges right here. So just right click, D, dissolve, pull this over here. Let's just turn off proportional editing. We're not going to see the backside, so that doesn't matter. Okay, lovely. That is actually good enough for now. So let's just shade this auto smooth, and I'll do some more work on this later, but for now, that is going to be fine. I might just parent all of this stuff, Control P, K to the biggest thing, just this. So you can see these are still being arrayed around that empty, so every time I move them around, it's going to mess it up. But if they're all parented to this thing, I can just move it all at once, so that makes it a bit easier to like scale things. So we need this to be giant, so let's just add a cube for scale reference, and let's just say slightly smaller than 2 meters, something like that is roughly the height of a person. It's close enough. And let's just move this up to right here. Okay, so that's roughly the height of one person, and I want this to be like ginormous. So let's just pull this up even a little bit bigger. That's good. Just a gigantic fan. Yeah, this will be cool. So I don't know if I want this in the world origin or if I want this in the origin. We'll just leave this here for now. And then let's hit the backslash key again to get out of that isolated view. So we can delete this or just leave it in maybe. And let's set up the camera angle and some basic textures and also some basic lighting just so I can get a rough idea of the overall vibe of the scene. Okay, so let's move the camera pretty far back. 24 millimeters will be a good place to start. And I want this thing taking up like a good chunk of the frame. It doesn't need to be like the entire frame, but a good chunk will be fine. So 24 millimeters is wide enough where it's not like super wide, but it's like not like 50 is the default, right? So that's, whoops, 50 is default, not 590, 50. So that's default, and then 24 is zooming it out like this much, so right there. 24 millimeters is kind of similar to like the normal like back camera on your phone, like the default back camera is like roughly around this range. So it's like, it's kind of a nice focal length where it's not too zoomed in, but not too wide, but still wide enough. Anyways, let's box select this, go into rendered view, just Control B to only let the camera view render, so not rendering extra stuff that I don't need to see. So I might go into the world settings. I have a sky texture on here by default, but I'll just delete that, and then I'll just leave it empty. And then let's add a spotlight for now. Spotlight, and just pull that up, and let's do like 10 trillion million watts, whatever this is. Blend up so that it's nice and smooth, the fall off. Make the radius so it's even smoother. Doesn't need to be too high, but you can see a nice soft shadow is going to be nice. Maybe take the spot size down a little bit and then just bring this up. And I don't like how this thing is catching the light, so let's just adjust that. And maybe pull this. Let's do 2 million watts. And maybe a slight angle on the side, so it's not straight up and down, but like slightly to the side. Maybe a little bit more here, maybe a little bit more in here. Okay, I'll have to tweak this more once I get more of the scene flushed out, but for now, this is a good starting point, just to see what's going on. Okay, I'm gonna block out a little bit more of like the walls and floor so I know roughly where things are gonna be placed. And then I'll move on to textures and just get a rough idea of the kind of materials we wanna use in here. So I think I kind of want like a big pathway here, or like some sort of sewer type of thing here, followed by like, I'm just using cubes and planes to like just block out my rough ideas. So there's going to be like some sort of wall or barrier here, and then another one over here, and then like a trench here. Maybe I could just pull this down to like represent some sort of like trench or canal or something. You might not even see this because this is just like a line over here from this perspective, but maybe I'll end up moving the camera around a little bit. I don't know. Just blocking out like any rough ideas I have that I want to use. So another thing there, and then we need some walls. So let's just pull this up, rotate it 90, just reuse the same basic blockout shapes. Origin to geometry. This is my quick favorites menu. If I press Q for quick favorites, I have origin to geometry there. If you don't see that, just just push F3, type in origin to geometry, and then yeah, this one right here, you can actually just right click that and then assign it to quick favorites from here, or assign a shortcut. So mine's on the quick favorites. If I just press Q, there's all this stuff: convert to mesh, clear object and data, origin to geometry, auto smooth, mirror, all these things. Just the handiest things that I found to add to this. So anyways, that's what that is: Q, origin to geometry. Because you can see, like, when I was moving this around in edit mode, now the origin is up there and it's just annoying to work with. If I just hit Q, bring the origin back to geometry, it's just a bit easier. Okay, anyways, let's figure out what is happening with these walls here, because it's a bit awkward going from this wall to this big fan thing right here. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but let's figure that out. Maybe mirror this. So I want it to be symmetrical. So let's just put that on both sides. So mirror modifier. Let's duplicate that again, take off the mirror, and then actually just flip it around. That was just Alt R to, I guess I should turn on the screencast keys. I think I have that in here somewhere. Let's just get rid of this, bring this over here. Okay, perfect. I have to get used to that. So let's just pull this wall back to like here. And I kind of want this to be like, yeah, I want this to be, I might have to Boolean this. So let's just do that really quick. Just control, what is it? Control Shift B, Bool tool. I think that's an add-on you have to enable. So just go to preferences, search for Bool tool, and then just now you can press Control Shift B, and we want this one to cut a hole in this one. So Control B, and I need to duplicate this because it's going to delete it. So Control Shift B, difference, and then that was the brush Boolean, so I can move it around. And now I think that's good. So let's apply that, and then if I just come here, yeah, exactly. Let's select this thing, Control L to select linked geometry, anything connected to it. So you can see if I had Control L on this, it's that. Control L on here is just that. So let's delete those because I want it to be like a big tube. And there we go. We now have something like this. So let's just Shift G to select similar normal, just to select everything facing the same direction as that face. Let's pull it this way, just so we have like a big tube back here, which you can't even see, but doesn't hurt to do it. Okay, let's pull this closer this way, and I might have to adjust this because I don't actually really like the size of this, but it's fine, whatever. Let's just bevel this maybe. I'll add more details to this after, but let's just get a basic idea of what I want here first. So I think it might be cool if we have like something like this, like if I extrude this up and then pull it inwards. Because right now it looks like a giant washing machine or something, which I don't really like. So let's see if we can avoid that and just make it look nicer and cooler. So maybe I can just extrude this up. That's fine for now. Maybe duplicate this, pull it inwards, scale it way down, just to have it like a nice outline over here. And then just take these, pull it in. Just for some sort of like border. I don't know, that's fine. And then I kind of want like this to be, let's pull this up and then pull this back down. So there's like, yeah, it's like a sloped side here. We can just pull these back up. I don't know, I want it to feel like some kind of sewer or something. And the camera doesn't have to be from this angle. We could like go over here and like come from the side. That might actually be cooler. I kind of like that, so let's stick with that. Just something massive. And this is one of those ones where I definitely want like somebody standing right in the foreground just to really hammer in that sense of scale. Just have this massive object right beside this tiny person right here. Totally fine to do that sometimes. Okay, so let's pull this up.